nobody told you, bro, to lay down with this bum that I call my dad and have 3 kids by this bum, and now you're mad because this bum left you with 3 kids, and you take your anger that you have for this bum on the kids, and then when the kids grow up and call you bum ass parent, now you like, nigga, how? We're about to react to why millennial and Gen Z are going no contact with their parents. Toxic parents get cut off. Video by Life with Melanie. Let's see what she's talking about, man. I don't blame people that cut their parents off. Parents be very annoying and very toxic and hard to deal with. And I feel like you could try so hard with your parents, and they just be so stuck in their ways. It's just like, bro, there's really nothing you could do, bro. Some parents is just too stuck in their ways, bro. Like, they just stuck, and then you tell your parents what you got going on, and they just refuse to understand because they're your parents and they're mature and they're adults. Like,
has anyone else noticed that when an adult child chooses to not have a relationship with a parent, it's always, but she's your mom, but he's your dad. You only have one dad.
No, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I get that. Like, yes, like, yeah, this is your mom. Like, this is your dad. Like, yo, for real, like. But when you actually hear the stories of these people, you kind of be like, you tried. Like, you tried. You've been dealing with that for like 20 years of your life, 20 plus years of your life. So I can see how you're a bro. I tried, bro. I'm just tired of it. I get it. I get it.
Dad, you only have one mom, and it's never, wow, what could a parent do to cause their child to make this decision?
That's true.
Or it's never, but they're your children. How could you treat your children that way?
That's true.
Why is it that the responsibility of the relationship
on the child
is placed on the child?
Every single time, because they all tell you, call your grandma, call your mom, call your dad. Like, bro, call your grandpa. Like, bro, this is an 40-plus-year-old person. I am 20-plus years old. Whatever. They are the elder. They should reach down to me and let me know how to maneuver in this life, or let me know what they need me to do or want me to do, or be in control of this relationship. There's no way that you expect me as my 21-year-old self, living my young life and enjoying my life and do what I gotta do to call people and plan stuff for people that are older than me that should be doing that for me. These are my elders. They're supposed to be looking out for me, not me checking up on them. You feel me?
Child.
This is the least favorite part of my job.
And I'm not gonna lie. I have this problem with my grandfather. Like one time my grandpa was in a situation where, like, he went to the hospital, right? And mind you, my dad passed away like damn near almost 13 years ago, and my grandpa was not there for me at all. My grandma was there for me. And like when we started talking again, he always would tell me to come see him, and he lives like an hour and a half away from me. Like, no, I'll still go out to see him, like check him out and see what he got going on. Like, still, like, still being a good grandson. But then I just got annoyed because, like, bro, why am I going out of my way to come see you when you have a vehicle? You could have been seeing me this whole time my dad been passed away. You never took time, but now I always gotta come to drive and see you, or I gotta call you, or I gotta do this, I gotta do that. You're not doing nothing but sitting in your house while my grandma is leaving her house, picking us up, bringing us here, bringing us there, doing this, doing that. You just chilling, living your freaking life. You feel me? And then one time, I was like, yo, what's up, Grandpa? How you doing? Let's check on him. He's like, oh, he said something about, oh, just wondering why you didn't come see me. And when he said that, after that, we never spoke again. Because it's like, bro, I've looked past you not doing anything for me for the past 10 years of my life from when your son passed away. And now you're telling me, oh, why did they come see you? Like, nigga, why you ain't come see me? What you talking about? Why you ain't come see me? When I was 13, 14, and my dad passed away, I needed a male figure to be there for me. Why you ain't come see me those 10 years? Or call me every weekend. Now I gotta call you and drive up to see you out. That niggas is bugging. I ain't talked to that man in like 2-3 years. Cause of that one situation. That nigga, what you talking about? You upset or something because I come like I'm entitled to come see you. That nigga, you bugging the hell out.
The patient is asking me to call his son, who he's not spoken to in 10 years, and tell him to come visit him before he dies.
Okay.
Okay. So he said no, he's not going to come. I said that I respect that
Why would he
decision.
come?
Asked if he wants me to notify him whenever his
hell?
dad does die, and he said yes. I have to go in here now and tell the patient that. Okay, I told my patient. Didn't go well. I told him that his son said that he doesn't want to come. The patient asked if I told him that he was dying. I said I did. He said, you should have told him that he had to come. I said, I'm not going to do that.
Just because you, on your deathbed, you want to see your son. You had all this time to see your kid. And now you about to, let me go see my son. Man, I think this is crazy, bro.
I offered if my patient wants to write his son a letter that I will get it to him, but I said I can't tell you that he'll open it. My patient told me to get out. I love this patient so much, but it's just not my place to guilt trip someone into coming. I have no idea what this person was like the first 80 years of their life before I met them. As much as it sucks to get yelled at in that way, hopefully
It's not fair. That's not fair, bro.
Now, I don't understand why some parents act so surprised when their kids go no contact, knowing damn well you treated that kid like a servant more than you treated them like a child.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't get me wrong. There's some amazing parents out there. But then there's a select group of parents that traumatize their kids, that never allowed their kids to speak.
No. There's amazing parents, and then there's horrible parents. Not select few. They are horrible. They definitely got some amazing, be there for their kids, hear their kids out, like be there, like actually be people to their kids, like actually treat their kids like humans and not like toys or dolls or servants, like you said.
Never created a safe space, and to be honest, you're one of the reasons why your child deals with so many different issues like anxiety, because you stressed that kid out.
Facts.
That kid never was allowed to be a kid because you forced them to grow up fast.
Facts.
Now, a lot of parents are going to say, I was young, I tried my best, I did everything I could. That still doesn't mean that you ever had the conversation where you apologize for all the wrongs that you did to your child.
And that be the problem. The kids come to you now like, your mom, you feel me? Growing up, you hurt me a lot. And they just don't apologize. They have no accountability. They have no empathy. They have nothing but excuses. Nothing but excuses. Never wants to say, no, I'm sorry I did that to you. Nope. It's just excuses and I'm your mom. or I'm your dad. Shut your ass up.
You as a grown adult, 40, 50, 60 years old, still can't self-reflect and listen to your child vent about the things that they went through, and you're just going to dismiss their feelings?
Mm-hmm. They are.
That's why they don't want to talk to your ass no more.
Mm-hmm.
I understand this might make some of you mad, but a lot of these kids don't ask to be here. You sat up there and had that child.
Very true. Y'all be saying, oh, I was so stressed out. Nobody told you to have 3 kids. Nobody told you to have 3 kids. Nobody told your broke ass to lay down with this bum ass nigga that I call my dad and have 3 kids by this bum ass nigga. While you also be the bum ass nigga. And now you're mad because this bum ass nigga left you with 3 kids. And you take your anger that you have for this bum ass nigga on the kids. And then when the kids grow up and call you a bum ass nigga because you was a bum ass parent, now you like, nigga, how? What the fuck? You don't see it? You was violent.
Sat up there and brought that child into this world. Now, if you did it in an irresponsible way and or you had a child before you was ready, are you going to put that onto the kid? Or are you going to take responsibility for your actions?
They going to blame the dad and blame the kid.
At the end of the day, a lot of kids would love to love their parents and have that relationship.
That's a
But
fact.
a lot of adults
Make it hard.
act like fucking kids.
So there are more and more millennials and Gen Zs who are making the difficult decision of going no contact with their parents.
Jamaican?
So traditionally, the family
hear
is
it.
viewed as that sacred union, and no matter what happens and no matter the circumstance, you should never cut ties with your family. But in recent years, people are moving away from that, where they value trust, commitment, self.
Yes, because for a long period of time, we've allowed people that we love or that love us to treat us like whatever. And because we're family, we just gotta be cool with them. We gotta be fake with them. We gotta talk to them. We gotta be nice to them. We gotta be cool with them. You know how much times you meet your aunt? You know everybody in the family do not like your aunt. But every time your aunt come around, you just say hi to your aunt. Just go say hi to your auntie. Like, nigga, none of us like her. None of us like auntie. Why are we faking it? What are we faking for auntie for? You feel me? And the kids is tired of it. Like, I'm done faking with y'all niggas. All y'all niggas want to be fake. Because y'all want to have this fake ass family thing going on. That's not real. Like, I'm not jacking it. Fuck auntie.
Care, good mental health over those traditional values. We were always taught that blood is thicker than water, and whatever happens with your family, you should always work it out. You should always try to be the bigger person, especially if it involves your parents, because after all, they brought you into this world.
But it's like, why do we gotta be the bigger parents? And the parents, who are literally the bigger people, don't have to do that.
But more people are realizing that their mental health and their overall well-being is more important than holding on to a toxic relationship, even if those toxic people are your parents. If you enjoy content like this, like, share, and subscribe to the channel.
I just saw a creator posted a video talking about the fact that when people go no contact with their family members, specifically they were talking about parents, it's not because of something that happened to them when they were 11. It's because of repeated continues of patterns of behavior from their parents. And that resonated with me really hard because I had an abusive childhood and I'm no contact with a lot of my family. And a lot of them walk around and make it seem like I'm just bitter and miserable for things that happened in my childhood that happened 20, 30 years ago. And that couldn't be any further from the case. Yes, those things happen. They had lasting impacts on me, and I was mad about them for quite some time. I'm not going to lie about that. But I spoke to most of my family well into my 20s, so it was not something that was happening to me when I was 15.
No, it's because when we finally build a goddamn courage to come to y'all niggas and say, Mom, auntie, cousin, sister, brother, dad, you was bugging when I was a kid, and you still bugging now. Y'all response be? Shit. That's not true. Like, I'm telling you what you did to me, and you telling me it's not true. How is it not true when I'm telling you the exact moment? I'm telling you the exact timeline breakdown. Everything I'm telling you. You look at me like, I ain't do that. Huh?
Rather, every single body that I cut off, I cut them off because I had a eureka moment after an active engagement with them. Like, when I say that, I mean, like, I'm actively engaging in conflict or conflict resolution with them. And I had a eureka moment where I realized this person is never going to change.
Yep.
Nothing is ever going to be different with this person. Who they were when I was 11 years old and who they are now is the same person. And while they cannot manhandle me the same way because I'm no longer a child, if I'm going to have a relationship with this person, I have to be willing to subject myself to constant disrespect
and being
manhandled. And I decided that I didn't want a relationship with them that
Yep,
bad.
we're not
It
jacking
makes
that.
them feel better to tell themselves it's because I'm bitter and I'm holding on to the past. But they are the same exact person when I was 11 years old that they are today. They have not changed. They're not going to change. And that was the realization that I had to come to. It's not what happened to me.
And they think like, oh, the kids be trying. The kids be trying. Like the kids done forgive the parents about 45,000 times before they gave up. By the way, the kids don't just go, I'm gonna talk to them one time And if they don't understand, no, they try over and over and over and look past things over, continue looking past things to the point where it's like, oh, bro, wow. It's like I said, she's just like, wow. Like, wow, this is it. And I'm done dealing with it. And then they happy after that. Like, of course they sad because their parent is like, but at the end of the day, it's like you let go of the weight of like, wow, okay. No matter, I'm good. I forgive you. I'm moving on. You feel me?
15. It's what happens to me at 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. For all the years that I'm in contact with you, I keep having the same experience. And it was my own mother who taught me that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different response. At some point, it is insane to continue engaging with these people and expect anything different from them.
Hi, I'm Dawn. I'm an estranged mom, and I just say it like I see it.
So I've been no contact with my mother for 8 years, and this woman reminds me a lot of her.
I just say it like I see it, and that's parents' problem. They want to say shit how they see it, like they perfect, like they don't got problems with it, like they don't be going through shit and doing dumb shit and just not being perfect human beings.
Go back and watch her original video. I will tag her so you can watch it, but the whole video is just her not taking accountability for anything she's done.
I say it how I see it.
Kids do not cut off their parents completely for small things. They don't cut off their parents for things that have only happened once or twice. A lot of people cut off their parents.
Nigga, it is built up years, decades, a whole century of things.
Because they think there's no hope for them to change. And because that parent is never willing to take accountability for what they've done. This woman avoids accountability at all costs. First, she says that she treated, I guess, her daughter-in-law and son like garbage during her daughter-in-law's pregnancy because she had a brain injury. And she just had zero control over everything she did at that point. Then she mentions how her therapist says that her ex-husband and her daughter-in-law were kind of the problem. At least that's what it insinuates. Then she talks about her last kid that went no contact with her and how essentially they were influenced by their other siblings, or that's how she makes it seem.
If your entire family, as like your kids, don't talk to you, you think they're the problem? Do you really think the kids, if you have 4 kids and out of 4 of your kids and none of them talk to you, do you think your kids are the problem? You're the problem. Think about it.
And then she says, oh, but I've apologized. And I'm not exactly sure what she's apologized for. Because the entire video is her not taking accountability for anything. She also mentions that her kids believe that she's going on a smear campaign by talking about this stuff. And I can relate. My mom would complain about me to anybody who had an ear open to listen. And she would talk exactly like this woman is talking. So many excuses, so many excuses, and never taking accountability. At some point, you have to figure out what is more important to you, either your pride and ego or your relationship with your kids. Now, I'm not saying that even if she decides to give up her pride and ego, that her kids would talk to her again.
Nah, the pride and ego is bigger than the kids. Trust me.
With the way she's talking and the things she's doing, I don't think there's any possible way they would want to speak to her again. And I know from my personal experience, I wouldn't want to. It's sad to see people's pride and ego get in the way of some of the most important relationships in their lives. But the longer you avoid accountability, not only does it hurt your kids, but it hurts yourself. You don't allow yourself to grow and change. And even if your kids never talk to you again, it would be beneficial to learn how to take accountability.
Like, not even just for your kids, for your entire life. Work, friends, family, intimate relationships. Like, just for your entire life is good to be able to take accountability.
Fortunate to see so many parents on this app not getting it. I remember coming across this video and it was like, what is one thing that you wish your parents did? And I'm not kidding you, like 95% of the comments was, I wish my parents would admit when they were wrong. I wish my parents would take accountability. And there's a big reason as to why that is. I think because millennials and Gen Zs are prioritizing their mental health more, we are tolerating less abuse.
It's like people
accept that just because we are related to somebody, they
I
get a
just said
free
this.
pass.
I just said this.
Because in all honesty, from what I've seen,
People my parents' age or people older than that, they accept abuse from their parents
I
because
just said
that's what
this.
they thought the norm was.
I just said
So I
this.
think a lot of these parents who are older are confused as to why their children are
I
walking
just said
away.
this. These niggas, I would say, us people or my generation, we got cojones, we got balls, we have YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We're learning our triggers and these words and mental health. We're understanding these things more. So now we're like, wait, my mom been bugging for a long time. Let me go talk to her. Damn, she shot me down. My last 45 attempts of like fixing our relationship. I'm done. I'm not tolerating that shit. And we never try to be fake no more. Like we not about to be fake. Like we not about to have no family barbecues where we all hate each other but we come together for family birthdays. We ain't doing that. Hell no. I ain't doing that shit. Hell no. if you don't like me, we don't like you, bro. Let it be that. I don't want to be fake. I don't want to have no family events and invite you because we family and you gotta be there. Nah, you don't gotta be there, brother. You don't gotta be there.
Way.
You be
because there's this toxic narrative that you're related to them, so they get a free pass. Or at least the child has to keep forgiving and keep forgiving. You are not owed access to anybody, especially when you're not able to own up to the things that you've done. I will say I'm proud of so many people in my generation stopping the dysfunction and not letting it carry on in their own families. Because that is not easy.
I'm just happy my mom tell me sorry and say, yo, sorry son, if I did that wrong to you, I apologize. My mom takes accountability. I don't got this problem right here. But I know people that do. And I've experienced talking to people like other than my mom, and they have like problems that's like, yo, bro, you're just a weirdo.
The hardest things you could ever do. You are breaking cycles that have never been broken before, and that is huge.
That's a fact.
These are the things that I didn't expect when I went no contact with my mom. I have been no contact with my mom on and off for the past 10 years, but I would say it's been pretty consistent for the last 5 or 6 years. When I say no contact, I mean no contact. I don't have her phone number. I don't have her address. She met my son, but only once when he was 2 years old, and now he's about to be 7 years old this year. And she's never met my daughter, and she has not met my fiance. And the one thing that I did not expect when I went no
like she's deep in with it. Like, damn.
Contact with her was the amount of people in my life that would meet me for the very first time, find out that I'm no contact with my mom, and then ask me to mend the relationship. They would just automatically assume that that was my first course of action, and I did nothing to try to make the relationship.
Come on, like y'all dumb. Y'all stupid. Y'all just think I just left my mom to dry. You just left my mom. You just left my mom, the lady that I grew up with my whole entire life. Think I don't love her and care about her and want to be with her and want to be around her? No, she's a fucking asshole. It's impossible.
On work before I cut her off. And what I need for people to realize is that is the result of trying to make the relationship work. The no contact is the end of something. It's not the beginning of something. Typically, adult children that have gone no contact with their parents, that wasn't their first plan of action. They tried for probably many years to make the relationship with their mom or dad work. I know for me personally, there were years where my mom didn't take accountability. It wasn't just one conversation. True healing between two people cannot happen if only one person is acknowledging the trauma. And then even once the trauma is acknowledged, there needs to be a change in behavior. And it drives me absolutely insane when people just think, oh, you took the easy way out by just cutting her off. That was not the easy part.
That's the hard part. The hard part is like, yo, I love my mom, and I just can't be around her no more. It's like breaking up with an ex. Now you love your girl, you love your boy, you love your man, you love your girl, but you just like, yo, bro, this person is never gonna change, bro. No matter how much I try, no matter how much I tell us to do this and do that, no matter how much I change to help them see that I'm here, I love them, I care about them, I'm fixing myself for them. They just never gonna change, and you just give up. Same thing as that shit.
A very difficult decision, and it's a decision that I personally do not regret because I know everything that took place, and I know that I'd made the best decision for myself. And as a result of not having contact with me, she also does not have contact with my children. And I've said this in a video before, but children, no matter what the age, do not owe their parents anything. And that includes contact with their grandchildren.
Nothing.
Parenting is a one-way street. It always has been that way. It is a job that you do not get thanked for because your children did not ask to be here. You did not have to have them. I also didn't expect the fallout that would happen with other family members because of my decision to cut off my mom. There are family members that don't talk to me, mostly
because them niggas is fake as shit. And fake niggas don't like being around real niggas. Yeah, fake niggas stay together and real niggas be alone. That's how it is, my nigga.
siblings, just because of the fact that I won't have a relationship with our mom. And that's okay too, because although we have the same mother, I do realize we had a different experience with her based on the amount of time that we spent around her. I'm just saying, if you meet a person and find out that there's no contact with their parents, please respect their decision. And keep in mind that it is always the parent's responsibility to mend that relationship. It's never the child's responsibility, no matter how old they are. Many people grew up in very toxic and traumatizing.
I could agree. I agree and disagree at the same time, because sometimes, you know, kids can be stubborn and be in their feelings, and you feel me? That's possible too. So I think I personally think it could be a two-way street. Like, I think it should, and it could be a two-way street. But if you exerted all your options, then it's like, what can you do? I understand why you stopped trying. But I feel like it could be a two-way street. I don't feel like it should only be parents trying to fix it. I feel like kids should try to fix it too. You feel what I'm trying to say? And if it don't work, it don't work. But I feel like it's definitely could be a two-way street. But I get what she's saying though.
Homes where they were not allowed to speak up for themselves, they were not allowed to have a voice, they were treated as commodities and not like human beings. And now that they have become adults and they're able to think for themselves and make decisions for themselves independently of the family unit, they are realizing, or they're deciding, that they would rather be on their own than having to deal with these relationships into adulthood. Some people have parents who place unrealistic expectations on them, giving them so much trauma that they grew up into being anxious adults. And there are some adults who have tried to repair the relationship that they have with their parents, or even tried to communicate with their parents that, hey, the way that you raised me was very traumatizing. I was hurt, I was neglected, I felt abused. And their parents, even when they're adults, will dismiss them and say, well, that never happened, I never did that, or you were too sensitive. And they are realizing that their parents are not going to change, and in order for them to be happy adults, they need to leave their parents behind.
No, but you have to forgive them first. You have to forgive them and say, you know what, I'm forgiving you for me, not. I don't forgive you. I'm forgiving you for me, so I can let it go and move on. Basically, it's like you gotta forgive them in some sort of way, so you can be good, not for them, not so they can feel better, for you to feel good.
Now, I imagine that if someone has gone through the process of trying to get their parents to understand how they're feeling and they are then dismissed as an adult, I would understand that it would be a tough decision to cut off these people who have been in your lives literally from the beginning.
I blocked my parents even though they paid for some of my college and gave me a car because of this reason. Growing up, both of them had uncontrollable anger issues and absolutely no concept of boundaries. It was violent, emotionally abusive, verbally, physically. You get the picture.
TikTok is like people's, because the amount of people that come on TikTok and just tell their life story is kind of crazy. But it's cool. It's interesting to see that so many people go through the same things in different ways, or in the same way at times. So TikTok is cool. Like, it might be a little weird because people just be telling their life story on there all the time, but at the same time, it's like there's really nothing wrong with it as long as you tell information you don't mind sharing. You know, there's really nothing wrong with it.
My mom would make some serious threats over my grades, and she would tell me, like, my friends would all realize how bad and stupid I am one day and leave me. When I got married, she claimed that my husband would abuse me and realize that I was a burden.
Not terrible, mom.
Like, throughout my life, she tried to drive a wedge between me and anyone that I cared about. I mean, I was just so tired of my parents constantly criticizing every decision I ever made and denying the abuse just because it happened so long ago.
She didn't try to lower her self-esteem. like lower her confidence. Like, what type of mom try to lower your daughter's confidence and self esteem by saying shit like that? It's kind of fucked up.
Every time I bring up just the physical abuse, they're like, why are you living in the past? It happened so long ago. I just couldn't pretend anymore that everything was normal because every time I look at them, all I can think and remember is who they really are. I was afraid to cut contact with them because I was still on their phone contract for some reason. I should have switched that earlier. And my brother still had to be on their insurance. And they still needed to finish signing the car title transfer papers for the car that I've been driving for years. Side note, yes, I'm privileged and I'm extremely grateful for everything I do have. I never asked, begged, or demanded anything from my parents. So despite all these strings attached, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna figure it out. We'll see what happens. I'll get a new car if I need to. So we picked up my brother, told my parents that he's fine, we're going no contact, and they showed up banging at the door. My brother and I hid, and they accused my husband of acting like a kidnapper when there was a bunch of back and forth yelling, and then they finally left. When we opened the door, we found the car title transfer papers magically signed on the ground. And let me tell you, that shit's been sitting on the back burner for so long because I'm afraid to ask them for things. Because they just accuse me of using them for money. I don't need them to pay for these things anymore, and they're the ones who make promises and say they want to give me something, and then when I take it, they accuse me of being demanding and just using them for money. I'm grateful for everything I have, but I really don't want all this shit. I don't want transactional relationships. I just want it to be loved and accepted and have my boundaries respected. Also, I already did a video on the story, but I did want to clarify, add some more details for the people who want to go no contact.
This light is bright as a motherfucker. This shit is busting my eyes right now. I gotta turn this shit down. Like, this shit busting my eyes.
Contact with their family, and they're afraid like it's too messy, they're dependent. Girl, it's messy, and that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it.
So I cut my dad off like a couple weeks ago, and I haven't really talked about it much, honestly, at all on here. I have made some videos about, you know, having a parent that's like emotionally absent, and that parent I'm talking about is my dad. I'm gonna try really hard not to make this long. I just figured maybe if it comes on your For You page and you've never seen me before, it could be relatable. And if you're thinking about possibly doing this to not even a parent, just like someone that you know or they have the same kind of traits, maybe this video is for you. I'm just gonna give like a tiny bit of backstory. So growing up, like, my parents are married. I had a very normal childhood. If anything, I was like a huge daddy's girl. I loved my dad. Like, I was obsessed with him, like definitely put him on a very, very high pedestal. And I recognized that a lot of my friends and people that I went to school with at the time, people around me, they didn't really have, you know, active fathers in their lives.
It was kind of crazy how, like, dads not being there is like so prevalent in so much different communities. Like, it's not only black, or it's like like a lot of communities don't have dads,
or their parents were divorced, so they just didn't really like see their dads as much.
You could be white, Spanish, it don't matter. Niggas don't be having no dads.
I felt very lucky in the sense of like having a father that was, you know, physically present and there, and like I was, you know, able to touch him, and like he was there. At the same time though, and I think now I can see it as like generational trauma. But at the same time, like, I'm almost positive that my dad, even though like he's a good guy, he tried as hard as he could be to be the best father when we were a kid. And I feel like he just kind of gave that up as me and my brother were getting older. And also growing up, like, and I've just kind of realized this, not realize it now, but more so like I'm just like looking back and like reflecting and seeing that it was like just these thoughts are becoming more prevalent. My parents definitely played into that very traditional man of the house role. My mom was always saying like, you need to make sure like the dishes are clean, you need to make sure the house is clean, like, you know, like a man's never gonna marry you if you like don't, you know, like all those like really toxic gender roles. My parents definitely played into them, and it makes sense. Like, they are of like that generation. Yeah. So like they're like born in the 60s. Like, obviously, like they're going to kind of like play into those like traditional roles. Yeah. But like the thing is, I'm not that type of bitch. I'm just literally not. Like, I don't get it. Never understood it when I was a kid. Never understood why my mom like would do stuff like this. But also, it's just like my dad, you know, when I was getting older, like, sure, he did help around the house and stuff like that. I'm sure it was like equal for them at some point, but it's like obviously my mom was always doing more. My mom always signed my permission slips. My mom always, took me to and from like any kind of like cheer practices or soccer practices or like gymnastics or anything that I had to do. I remember one time like I was supposed to go to the
moms are typically more involved in the kids' lives, especially if the dad is paying all the bills, because the dad is at work, working, or doing something which takes a lot of his time, especially paying all the bills. So that's why a lot of moms be more involved in their kids' like intimate lives or personal lives, or just know what's going on more because they just are there while the dad's at work.
Dance class, and my dad was supposed to drop me off, and once he got there, it was like, I think it was like $30 for me to like attend that day, and he didn't want to pay for it, so we left. Like, okay. There would be times where we'd go to the grocery store, and my mom would maybe be taking a little bit too long in there, so he would just leave. Like, he would just leave my mom at the grocery store.
He would just leave your mom at the grocery store? He wouldn't go in there and say, babe, hurry up? What? I've never thought to just leave my girl at a grocery store. If you take a long... Most of the time, when my ex used to go to the grocery store, I used to go in there with her, or I would just sit in the car and then I would just wait until she's done, or I'll just say, yo, what's going on? Like, I wouldn't just fucking leave her. It's ridiculous.
Like, sometimes I'd be with her, so like he would just leave us at the grocery store. He'd come back around and pick us up, but it's like, like, why would you do that?
Just leave your wife
and it was
kid
always like growing
without
up,
saying nothing?
When going into like man of the house kind of things, it's just always what my dad wanted to do. It was always what he wanted to watch on TV. It was always what he wanted to eat. It was always what he wanted to do, where he wanted to go. Not talking about like, like when we take family trips to like Disneyland and stuff like that, but it's just like, it was always
he was
his
on some
choice.
real dictator
like,
shit.
Fuck whatever my mom would suggest. Fuck whatever we would suggest. It was always his choice. So growing up, I understood that like maybe because you're the man of the house,
that
like,
nigga
you're
was
the
on straight. This is a dictatorship. I run this hoe.
breadwinner.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, shut up.
Totally understand you doing all this, but like after like 2018, my dad started becoming like really sick, like on and off. He ended up having a stroke in 2022, so he was out of work, and it was still like that. Where even when I was still living at the house, like, it would be like, oh, well, we're still going to do what he wants to do. And, like, as a kid, I understood that. Because, like, okay, you're the breadwinner, you're the man of the house. Like, totally get that. But then, like, when we were getting older, he wasn't doing anything around the house. He was not helping anybody. He was, if anything, just, like...
Just dad. And he's
making
annoying.
our lives a little bit harder. It's like we would have to come home and clean the house after he just made it dirty from not doing anything all day. And he wouldn't feel bad about it at all. Like, he just kind of expected that you would come home and, everything's all clean.
I don't even be understanding how certain people think the way they think. Like, how do you do the things you do to your family, your friends, your wife, your girl, how do people just do the things they do? Like, how does your brain even operate at that frequency where you just do things that are just so distasteful? Like, what the hell? The heliante?
He's not gonna do it. So, like, my mom's not the type of person to, like, see something dirty and be like, oh, I'm gonna let that person clean it up. She needs to, like, have a really clean place. It's just how she's always been.
Most women.
And so, like, when it got to the point of, like, getting older and it was still my mom kind of conforming to, like, anything that he would do, even though he wasn't doing shit, like, he wasn't the breadwinner anymore, I started to, like, wake up and be like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. My issues with my dad started, like, I think probably, like, my early 20s, like, 22-ish, I started, like, having big issues with him. And, like, I was still there for him when he got sick. Like, I was taking care of him when he had a stroke, took him to his doctor's appointment. I did a lot for him because obviously he's my father. I put my personal feelings aside for how I felt because, like, obviously I don't want anything bad to happen to my dad. But he wasn't helping himself. Even after he had his stroke, the doctors told him, you can't drink alcohol, can't smoke. He went back to doing all of those things.
Yeah.
And he was still complaining that he was,
Very
like, getting
selfish.
sick, not getting better. He
Very
wouldn't listen to my
selfish,
mom
yeah.
when it was time to take pills and all these things.
Very
You're not
selfish,
a kid.
hard-headed, ignorant, prideful. It's a lot of things that these niggas be going through that just doesn't make any sense. But I'm a man too, so I go through these things sometimes, but I'm just aware of these things, so I don't do them really that often because I just know better. You're
a father. You're a husband. You're an adult. Grown-ass man. this is also just like a random spurt. I kind of forgot too. I also promised myself that I wasn't going to travel with my father anymore after we all took a family trip to Cambodia, because he was insufferable on that trip, like truly insufferable, and thought the world revolved around him. So I told him, and I told my family, I was like, I will never take a family trip with him again. Just saying. Anyways, it got to the point where he would start to isolate himself every single day from our family. Like, he would spend every single day in our, downstairs TV room for hours. And it was like, to the point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. So obviously I moved out. I moved to LA, and I just would still have to deal with like having to hear about this, and I just couldn't take it. And recently when I was home this past summer for about a month or so, there was some things that, like health things that happened, and I, came back home. He was still kind of doing the same thing, still kind of treating my mom the same way.
It's kind of crazy
I just couldn't
how,
take it anymore.
nigga, you've been doing this for so fucking long, and you don't realize that you're bugging. I'm not gonna lie. You know what's crazy? I get it. Cause I've been in a space where it's like you just so clouded. You just so ignorant to anything that you just don't know what you're doing wrong. And you're just doing wrong, but you just don't see it because you just stuck in what you doing and what you got going on, what you need, and your needs and your expectations about, like, you're not worried about nobody else. You just get caught up in your own self, thinking that you so good, and everybody needs you, and then that's how you don't change, because you just so into yourself and not really being aware of your surroundings.
So I wrote him, a note just saying, hey, like, I cannot have you in my life right now. For my mental health, like, it's really just it bothers me. It makes me think of like every single day of just like everything I've gone through in my childhood, and like how he's still not listening. Right? Like, we've had to preach millions of times, like, we just want you to get better. We don't want you to drink anymore. You're hurting us as a family. And he just doesn't care. And I can't personally put myself through that pain anymore.
Yes, a lot.
I know I am worthy of having a father who loves and supports me, puts 100% effort into like everything, like cares about my stuff, cares about anything that's going on in my life. And if I can't have that, then that's fine. I'm 28.
I lost my dad early when I was like 12, so I didn't get to experience my dad as any way past this time.
I've gotten to this point, and I've been just fine. But like, just know, like, if you're going through this with a parent or anything like that, you are so worthy. You're more than enough. You're never too much.
And it's normal. It's kind of crazy that it's sad to say that it's normal, but it's normal, bro. So like, you're not the only one, bro.
Like, parents have trauma of their own. I'm not really sure if my dad had, like, obviously a manual on how to
I'm not gonna lie, and I say this a lot, that we also have to give parents grace. But it's not grace to the point where, as in, like, whatever they do, you just gotta accept it. Like, grace, like, okay, I will sit here and understand what you got going on and be here for you and get it. But if you're not finna change, then the grace is gone. But just give your parents grace, because they have been through their own traumas and their own things and their own problems. But sometimes you can give so much grace where it's like you just be letting them do whatever, and that's where it's, you just can't do that. You gotta be like, yeah, bro, I'm not. I tried. It's over.
The perfect father. No one's the perfect father. And he was pretty good up until, like, I was a teenager going into, like, my early 20s. But I can't have that energy in my life anymore because it's killing me. And I deserve to live a happy and fun, full life with people that love and support me and give me the same effort that I give them. And so do you.
Hey guys, so it's been officially 1 year since I went no contact with my mom and
her
my
skin
dad.
is amazing.
And because this is how I started my platform, I wanted to give like one last update and kind of put this to rest, because I've also decided to put that relationship to rest for good. And I'll kind of tell you guys how the interaction went and kind of what's led me to that decision. So one of my cousins got married in October, and so a lot of my family attended the wedding, and I anticipated seeing, some of my siblings and my parents. So I was informed that my dad was there like the week before, because the week before was when we did the traditional wedding, and then we do like an American wedding the next week, or sometimes it's a couple weeks in between, just depending on how they want to do it. But they decided to do like
African
one
weddings
weekend
are
and then the
definitely super extravagant.
next weekend. So not everybody could stay, of course, because not everybody can get 2 weeks off of work. But my mom decided to attend both. My dad went to the traditional wedding, but he didn't go to the American wedding, which is the one I went to, so I didn't see him. But regarding my dad, he's never tried to reach out to me, like basically since I moved to Houston, which has been 3.5 years, going on 4 years. He's never tried to reach out to me, and like growing up, he was never really there anyway, so it hasn't really been like that much of a difference that he hasn't been reaching out. But I just think like it's the fact that we haven't talked in years and he's just never tried to reach out. So a big part of me is still like healing from that and is still upset with that.
Because I feel like parents, it's like when you get older, parents just stop thinking they gotta be parents. Like parenting don't ever stop, bro. I could be 45 years old, and my mom could be 60, however much she gonna be when I'm 45, and she still gonna be a parent, bro. Parenting don't stop until one of y'all pass away, literally.
But the fact that, you know, he knew I was gonna be at the wedding and still like didn't try to coordinate or like, hey, what day are you gonna be there? Maybe I can be there at the same time so we can see each other. Like, it just like solidified for me that there was no
Niggas do not care,
urgency or any need on his end to, you know, reestablish a relationship with his youngest daughter. So I decided to finally accept that because, like I said, I still had hope for that, but, you know, it's okay. So then with my mom, I did see her there because she stayed for both of the ceremonies. And when I first saw her, for school, you know, when you get like that feeling, like that pit in your stomach when you know something, like it's like it was like nerves, but it was also like I just had like a pit in my stomach because I didn't know like how the interaction was gonna go. I didn't know like how she felt about me, and I didn't know if I even wanted to talk to her. But she is my mom, so of course like I also missed her and stuff, but I also know what comes with having her in my space, you know. So one of my uncles who I've never met before, I know who he is, but I've never met him before. He saw me and he stopped me and he just like introduced himself, and I said, hey, how's it going? And he had the look in his face, which I immediately knew that like my mom had told him everything about our like relationship and, you know, what.
It's crazy because like, why do people, why I feel like when a person is when a person is the aggressor or is the person that is wrong in a situation, they always quick to tell everybody the story. Like they wanna get to them before you get to them or something. Or they always try to like I said, be the first to tell people or just tell people the story start telling randoms the story just so they could get some validation or some, oh, I'm on your side or something. Like, bro, you're wrong, brother. Just accept that you're wrong. But they be looking for mad at validation. So they be telling the whole world before you tell anybody. So now everybody look at you like you crazy because you don't know what's going on with them, and they know what's going on with you because the person that is the aggressor just told them all type of foolishness for them to believe
what has been going on. So he immediately jumps into that, like no buffer. He just was like, so what's going on? Why aren't you like interacting with your mom? Why aren't you saying hi? And I was like, well, she saw me and she didn't say hi to me. Like at the end of the day, I'm the child, you know. But when
nigga, I'm your you pushed me out, nigga, which means like, nigga, you better get yourself over and say hi to me. Like, hey, honey, hey, my daughter, that I pushed out of my vagina. Hi, I know we beefing this shit, but then what's up? Give me a hug. Like, let's figure this out. You my daughter. Like, come on now. Like, what's going on? I'm your dad. Give me a hug, daughter. Like, I want to fix this. Like, well, our parents don't do that shit.
When it comes to like African parents, they're just very, very, very hard-headed, very stubborn. So I knew that if there's
if there's ever gonna be any like reconciliation, I'm gonna be the one that's gonna have to just like forgive everything and put everything on the back burner, sweep everything under the rug for us to ever have a relationship. And the fact that
a relationship, she gonna be fake as hell.
She saw me and refused to say hi to me first. Just, I think that solidified my decision for me, because I just decided, like, obviously I'm not important enough, and obviously the love is not strong enough for you to, you know, put your pride to the side for 1 second to say hi to your daughter who you haven't seen in so long. So yeah, she refused to say hi to me. My uncle tried to facilitate. He tried to be like a mediator, and she just like wouldn't say anything unless I was the one who said it first. And I'm thinking, I'm the one with the grievances. Like, why are you now acting like, you know, you've been offended? So to conclude all of that, over the last 3.5 years,
these parents just be having so much pumped up emotional issues that just end up putting it all on you. I think every time you see like the picture of them from the recent pictures, they always like,
especially the last year,
I'm tired, bro.
I've really come to terms with my relationship with them, and you know, I'm okay with what it is. Like, I've accepted that it's never gonna be what I wished it was, or what the little girl in me wished it was. And you know, the fact that we were in the same space and they still weren't willing to get anywhere with me or try to have an understanding was all that I needed to know. And I think that just is going to help me move on even more in my life and in my future. So yeah, that is it. I think that's just going to be my last, you know, update on the situation. And yeah.
For many people, going no contact is not about punishing the parent, but it's about setting healthy boundaries that they could never do when they were kids. And for many people, this is a new concept for them, because we were never taught to recognize signs of abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, financial abuse. And so now that we're adults and we're learning new things, we are able to unpack some of the baggage that we're carrying and realizing that our childhood gave
our
us
parents had a lot to do with a lot of our problems and our traumas. But most of them, for real,
a lot of trauma that we would not want to continue carrying. There are also different social and cultural expectations between generations, and there are many parents who still do not recognize that their adult children are adults, and they still treat them as not people, but as commodities, and want to still have a certain amount of control over their adult children's lives. And I mean, as a parent, you have to understand that the very best that you can do for your child is, when they are a child, try to instill good values in them, but you cannot control your child as an adult. Your adult child will now have to go out into the world, have their own experiences, and make their own decisions and mistakes. You can't protect your child from every scenario. You just have to help them cope with whatever decisions they choose to make with their life. And some parents cannot accept that and cannot let go of their child. And so even as adults, they try to control it.
They find strength in that control, and they use that control they had when they was kids on them for the rest of their life, until it just stopped working, because the kids is like, bro, I'm done with you, bro.
Try to manipulate, they try to make every decision, they try to insert themselves every chance they get, and it becomes overbearing for some adults. What do you think about going no contact with parents? Do you think work out the relationship with their parents no matter?
I don't think you should work it out no matter what. I think if you tried, or same thing as, like I said, having a boyfriend or a girlfriend. You don't break up with them the first time. You go through a million ups and downs with that person, and you have no choice but to leave. No choice but to leave, because you know if you stay here, you're gonna drive yourself crazy. So you have no choice but to leave. So I think going non-contact. At first, when I first started hearing about people that talk to their parents, I'm like, damn, you talk to your mom, like, why? And I said, damn, you gotta like fix that, like come on now, you feel me? But then as I've like learned more, and like even just been around someone that has gone through that or is going through it, and they tell you all the things their parent has done to them, like, you know what? I feel you, bro. You not bugging, because if that was me, I'd probably feel the same way. So, yeah, man, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hope y'all learned something. Comment, let me know how you feel in the comments, man. How you feel about this, and I'm gonna holler at y'all.